This is The VO Life. Positive conversations about living the voiceover life. Insight into the business and day-to-day grind of being a regular Joe VO. From the humble beginnings to the finally hitting a new level to getting that first big client. It's all about that VO life. Here's your host, Troy Holden.
Well, hey, welcome to episode 35. Can you believe that? If you look back on the entire podcast journey, this is the 35th time I've been privileged to sit down and talk to you about voiceover and what's going on. Well, everything everybody told me about July has pretty well come true, but the odd thing is, and I'm really enjoying this part of the business, is that there's less jobs but more money, and that is awesome. I know today was a pretty decent day for me, and this is being recorded on July 9th. We're in that first 2 weeks of July, and I've been told how slow it is, and then I see other people are busy, and it makes you go, you start those self-doubting things, but that you don't need to do that, and I'm trying not to. But I got a couple of really good orders today. And did some auditions that real quickly turned into shortlist on voices.com. So I'm hopeful. I've had a pretty good couple of weeks there. I had 5 jobs in the queue Monday morning, so that's pretty darn good on there. My booking ratio has got a lot better. But the big news right now is, and it was really big to me when it happened. I was very surreal. Is that prior to my 1-year anniversary, and really I got my thing from Upwork the other day on the 4th of July, because that was when I delivered my first job on a platform, and it was Upwork, and it was a little 15-second YouTube real estate video thing, and it was done by a drone flying over a neighborhood, and it was one of those things of, be sure you get with a realtor to understand the true value of your house. You could be giving away thousands of dollars, whatever. So, and I'll never forget that one, because you never forget your first time, right? So I will never forget this other event either that happened prior to my 1-year anniversary. Is I was blessed to be signed to an agency. And from all indications of what I can tell, it's a pretty darn good agency. It's called the Talent Group, and they're up in Pennsylvania and Ohio, and they also have West Virginia. And in that area, I'll be exclusively with them. So the only work I can do in that area is with them. And like I said, I think everybody knows I'm a humble person. I get excited about things, and I get blown away, and this was huge. I mean, when I was told it could happen, I was like, yeah, I believe it when I see it. And then here comes the email with the contract, and I just didn't know what to do. And I called my coach, and I said, well, what I do is you sign it and send it back. That's what you do, and that's what I did. But so far, let's talk about life now working with an agent. So what's changed? Well, first off, I can tell you absolutely nothing, because I have not gotten the first audition from there yet. And he told me the same thing a couple weeks ago. It's really slow right now. There's not a ton going on. But if you don't hear from me, like within 2 weeks, reach out. So I did. I reached out today and said, hey, just checking in. I understand it's as slow as it is hot right now, and it's hot down here in Tennessee, but I just wanted to check in and let you know I'm here. And I'm sure he'll reply back. Super nice guy. But it hasn't changed anything yet. And I don't know that it will, because you got to remember, if you look at that roster and you go through and listen to all those other demos on there, I'm the only person with an accent. And everybody says, there he goes again, talking about his accent. I'm not, it's not a negative thing to me anymore. It's just that, what's the chances of getting much voiceover work in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Today I did an audition for a barbecue place in Texas. I got put on a short list for a couple of other things, and one of those was, another one was also a Texas customer or a Texas hopeful client. And I still doing a lot of the video trailers. Rise of Kingdoms, what's the other one? AFK, WP is Warpath. What is AFK? I can't remember. So there are 3 of them in there, and they put out a new posting today for some characters. And I read for those and got favorited on one of those. It was for an older type guy. He kind of, gray, big gray beard, and he was kind of thin, but he was talking about following the light and live. We must obey the light. And so I had fun doing that one, and I love doing those things. But this week I also did a very unusual, and I know that's where it went because I know how they're structured, how they close those narrations. I guarantee it's going on YouTube, and it was about snipers and what it takes to be a sniper or something. It wasn't real in depth, believe me, but it was about 600, 700 words, which is about half of what a normal YouTube script is, and it paid $250, where a YouTube script usually pays $25 or $20 or $5. So I thought it was pretty neat. I felt like I graduated, and I said that gives me the incentive to drop another regular YouTube client, which I did that. Just great guy, did over 50 videos, but it had gone. It just got to the point the scripts were getting worse, and that always seems to happen when they get in a rut and the scripts get bad. They won't hire the guy to proofread and straighten that stuff up, and they try to do it themselves, and English is not the first language, and there'll be words in there that don't go or they're just not exactly right, and you stumble over them, and you have to edit, and it's a pain. And, a lot of people may not care, but it's a pain. There's been some good highlights this week. I also did an insurance thing for, I believe it was in Louisiana. It was called ESIP, and I cannot remember what that stood for right off the top of my head, but that was going to be a directed session, and I said, hey, would you mind if I just did a couple takes and sent it to you, and you can kind of, and then that way when we do the live direct, what we really need to go after. And he said, yeah, that's a great idea. So the next day he sent me things, says, we don't need the live direct. He said, I'm probably going to use take 1, but I kind of like take 2. But what I may end up doing is taking the back end of take 2 and splicing it over to take 1. And, I said, hey, whatever you want to do, it's yours, man. But, really nice. And what I really like on Voices is a lot of those jobs are production houses and I want to say ad agencies. I guess that's a proper word still. And they're going on there to get the voice. And then what you have to hope is that now they've worked with you. This guy, we even were texting, back and forth. And he's got my phone number, he's got my email, he's got everything. So the hope is he doesn't go to Voices next time. He goes, hey, let's get that guy again, especially if it's a similar type client. Now I realize I can't do all of his voiceovers, but I feel like now I'm in his pocket. I'm there if he needs me. So what's everybody working on when it's slow? And I go off in a rabbit hole normally when it gets slow, and I go off in the rabbit hole on the platforms. I have redone videos and changed pricing and blah, 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 blah. And I thought I'm not doing any better. Things aren't good. And then today I got a very substantial short order where they paid for the extras, and it turned into, had it just been the words, it would have been what? Well, $25 because it's 25 for 100. And this was under 100. And they bought the commercial rights, they bought the broadcast rights, and then they tipped me. And that just makes you feel so good when something goes right like that. And you don't have to beg somebody to do that stuff. And they tip you on top of that. It's a great feeling. And then a second one that came in today was a really nice returning customer that I'm doing, and I really enjoy doing their reads. It's usually 600 to 700 words, and I think this one was around 660. And by the time they cashed out, it was about $185, and that's what I'm going back to is I would have read that for $10 not long ago for the experience. And now it's kind of like last month, everything seems slower, but it's not really slower money-wise. It's slower volume-wise. And I'm all for less work, more pay. And it's not that I don't want to work. I would love to sit here and crank out 4 hours of voiceover a day, or 2 hours. as quickly as some of this stuff goes. But realistically, we're not likely to do that on a day-to-day basis. Some people are. Some people are, and I get that. Some are lucky, some are blessed, some are whatever. But yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah, this is one of those rambling podcasts because it's slow and there's not a thing to talk about. And I intended to talk about the agency thing, but it makes me feel like I'm puffing myself up and I just can't sit here and do it. I'd really want to talk more about what's not happening and what I'm not getting done. And like I said, I've not done an audition there either. I'm very encouraged with voices.com lately, and I say that because I really feel my coaching that I'm getting has really changed my ratios on there. I mean, I'm getting now where used to I would go a couple weeks and maybe not get a shortlisted audition, and now I'm getting 4 to 5 a week or more, and that ratio is well over 10%, which is the kind of the target on there. 10% of my listens. So if there's been 1,000 auditions heard, then I have 100 shortlist. Well, I have 128, I think, today, and I have like 1,040 something auditions that have been heard. So that ratio is really good. My booking ratio has gone from it was like 70 something to 1, and it's down in the mid 40s today. I was 44 or 45 to 1. That's a nice accomplishment. Someone had asked on Facebook, what is your ratio between listens and jobs you won? I don't like to look at that for 2 reasons. Number one, it will probably discourage me, but on the other hand, I will bet you, and Voices has statistics in there. It says if you're fairly new on here, here's where you should be. I guarantee you I'm above that because I checked it a while back. But I think the win ratio was like 2%. And then, people that do a lot better on there, it may be 5 or 10%. But you're going to audition a lot. But you know what? That's your freaking job. It's your job to audition. That's how I go after the work. Well, I would rather just sit back and somebody find me on Fiverr and send me an order. Well, you know what? I'll audition for it right now. There may be a day I don't have to, I hope. But right now, I'm going to chase those auditions. And the more of them I do, and the more scripts that I read, and the more practice that I get that's good practice because I've been coached how to do it now. And I'm not saying I'm great at this. Oh my gosh, no. I have a ton to learn. But I'm far enough along that I can watch the improvement and I see the improvement. And that, my friends, is key. You have to improve. Also had a cool thing happen today. I was on Facebook and saw someone that I knew that is a Christian author. And it's more of the type of book she does. It's little inspirational things, and then it has a page, and you write your thoughts in there. So it's not like something you would get to do an audiobook. But she mentioned something about a podcast that her publisher would ask her to start a podcast. And I sent her a message, and she said, hey, yeah, I've listened to your stuff. It's really good. I don't know if I could afford to pay you to help me, but I mean, I've got a budget and I really like some help. I need an intro, an outro. I'm going to put it up on Podbean. I got to record it and I need somebody to edit it. And I said, you know what? I will help you. I will absolutely help you. I do a podcast. I will help you. You've been, good to me over the years. We've been friends. And she's just a great person. Know her husband also. And her husband has a twin brother who comes into the place I work and sells industrial forklifts and stuff. So just know them, and they're good people. So I told her, sure, heck yeah, I'll record it for you. You send me what all you got. She said, well, I've got a script. I've got my music. I know how I want it. I wrote it out. And I said, you send all that to me, and I'll get it done for you. And when you get your she's going to record, I think, an intro podcast, like a 3-minute. That's a new thing, and I didn't do that. I think I did a 7 or 8 minute. And then she's going to do 3 episodes and send them to me, wants me to edit them. And she has a budget for each episode, which is kind of nice. So she's only doing about 20 minutes. And she's going to have a little break in the middle because she actually has a sponsor, and I feel bad. I don't have a sponsor. But I'm really thrilled to be able to help somebody, and that's local, and that's something I just saw on Facebook. I also had a person reach out to me on LinkedIn today and said, hey, we had favorited you on a job on voices.com, and this is backwards marketing, and said, just wanted to make sure this was you, saw you on LinkedIn, and the job was blah, blah, blah. If that was you, let me know. I want to put you in my file. Well, how about that? I got backwards marketed, and that was awesome. And I looked at it, and in all honesty, it was probably one of the first 10 short lists that I got. It was way back January, I think. It might have been late December. I can't remember. And I went back and listened to the spot, and it was okay. It was okay. But I did mention to him, yes, it was me, and da-da-da. And, hey, just want to let you know I'm investing a lot in training and coaching, and I feel like I'm getting a lot better. And I said, I really appreciate you giving me the short list early, and if I can ever help you, let me know. And hey, you never know. It's all about those conversations and all about those connections. You got to keep making them. I don't know about everybody else, but in our part of the country, it's hot. Tennessee is hot. We had a couple of really nice days last week, right going into the weekend and into the 4th of July, and the humidity stayed down. And it was like in the 50s at night, low 50s. And it was wonderful. Oh, you could sit on the porch, at 8 o'clock in the evening and think, man, I may need to go get something to cover up with. It was wasn't chilly, but it just had that feel in the air, and it didn't feel like fall. I know that feeling when it gets here. But, man, it's miserable. I mean, this humidity and this heat, and it's so dry. We haven't had much rain, and south of us, Middle Tennessee has, but we haven't up here on the Kentucky line, and we really need it. It's really dry. It's really dry. It has a lot to do with voiceover, talk about the weather, but I'm just, those of you that follow along know I get off on a weather tangent. Like I said, this was a rambling podcast. I hope, I hope everybody's doing great. I hope everybody is not as slow as I've been. If you are, don't feel alone. I'm right there with you. There's probably a lot more people slow. And, so I want to give a shout out to a few people that have been so helpful to me in this past few months. And one I found out, we have not gotten together yet, but he lives close, and we're going to do that. But he's moving in September, and that's J.J. Wilson. And those of you that know the voiceover gurus know who J.J. is. If you've been to the workouts, such a character. I enjoy talking to him so much, and he checks on me from time to time. And thank you, JJ, for all your help. You've just been phenomenal in this journey, and I thank you. Linda Bruno, also with the Gurus, and also been awesome. And let me disclose this. This is not anything they wouldn't mind if I said. They really care about their students. And I'll tell you, to the point, I was kind of in the dumps a few weeks ago, and they scheduled a Zoom meeting with me on a Monday. I think it was a Monday night or late Monday afternoon. And I'm not talking about a session. I'm just talking about they scheduled a quote unquote like a personal meeting. Hey, we need to talk to you. Let's talk about it. And they spent nearly an hour with me, just being forthcoming about things, about here's where you are, and here's where you need to go, and here's what you need to do, and here's what you shouldn't be doing. And I was so thankful because I needed that direction. I don't know the ins and outs, and they've been doing this a while, and they do it at what I like to call the upper middle class level. They may not be the network voice of this, that, or the voice of HBO or whatever, but by gosh, they're pretty close, and they have done some really top-notch work. And I'm very proud to call them my coaches and my friends. I just really appreciate them. I want to thank those that have been on the podcast. Trevor, Dane Scott, Brad Grahowski. We do have one I'm scheduling, and I've just kind of let it go right now because people are on vacation. They're doing things, they got stuff going on. But we're going to have one real soon called The Girls of Fiverr. The Girls of Fiverr. And it's two ladies that have different types of success rate on there, and they're both on a different type of voiceover journey, but they're both on Fiverr, and they both do okay there. One does really okay. She's really gotten to a high level really quickly. So that's coming up. I have more people in the queue that have agreed, and we're going to circle back with them. Mike Hathcote volunteered to come back on, and I will do that. I also have talked to Troy Hudson, who is a top-rated seller on Fiverr and would probably be a wealth of knowledge for a lot of you guys, and he's a good old Southern boy too. And a couple of other people. There are more. I was trying to think. There was one. Well, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But anyway, there's more interviews coming out, and I know you guys enjoy those interviews a lot more than me rambling. So we'll get to those hopefully soon. And I may start spreading these out more and not worrying about getting them on. It's just making sure I'm getting you something really good to hear. So this might be where we drive that stake in the ground today, is saying, I'm going to not come on and ramble like this anymore. I'm going to try to come on and make sure I'm giving you something you can use and not wasting 20 minutes. Hey, I want to thank all of you that go on and listen and download. And I don't know if you leave in comments or what you're doing. I don't check that often because I'm so busy with other things and trying to juggle life and work and voiceover and trying to make everything fit into the day and the week and the month. And I tell you, these Fridays roll around so fast. It just amazes me. It's like I get up on Monday morning and next thing I know it's Friday again, and we fly through the weekend. It's Monday morning again and it's Friday, and next thing you know, a year's gone and 2 years. And yeah, that's what I was thinking the other day. It doesn't seem like I've been doing this for a year. It doesn't seem like I was trying to build that PVC booth a year ago and the cats jumped on it and it fell down. I had to go buy a bigger pipe, and then I decided to build this room in the room. So, all right, well, you know what? That's enough. That's enough rambling. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Hoping to bring you more good stuff soon. Thank you guys for listening. I hope everybody has some good luck the next couple weeks, and things pick up for you, and away we all go. We'll see you next time right here on The VO Life.
You've been listening to The VO Life with Troy Holden. Check back for more episodes each week and catch up on what you've missed also. This is for you, those just living that VO life. Thanks for listening, and join us again.
This has been The VO Life with Troy Holden on Spotify, Apple, Google, and more.
The VO Life intro is by Louise Porter. The outro by Liz Moya. You can pick us up on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, and many other podcast carriers. Need to send me an email? Do it today. Troy@TroyHoldenVoices.com. Thanks for listening.